Hey folks, it is now March, but back in November I purchased this 10 by 26 by 7 foot hoop house off Amazon, and you can get these nice big ones for under 200. I bought it back in November with the Black Friday deals, but still at $200. The question is it worth the expense? So let us see. So the fabric came with some Velcro that's attached to this vinyl fabric, and the edges on the ends also came with ties. So basically, you tie it and you strap it on with the Velcro. But this is not adequate enough in case there is high wind because it will rip the fabric off the Velcro and the ties off the fabric. Let me show you. This hole is where you had a piece of Velcro and it ripped off the pole. So with wind, it does not hold up. And you will see other evidence of how this does not hold up with wind as I go through this video. Looking at the corner, you can see where the metal is pressed together, and look how thin that is. I mean, it's not much thicker than my fingernail for the piping. And they advertised upgraded heavier duty pipe, but it is so thin. And the reality is, I could not even carry the box. If it was any thicker in shipping, it would be a beast to ship. But also, when you shake it, in the wind, it will move and rattle, and then these will come loose. This one here came loose, as you can see, and I had several where the nuts fell off the bolts from the wind. And you can see that this area shakes even more. And the reality is, because the piping is so thin and light, it moves more readily with the wind. Concurrently, as it moves, it loosens these bolts. Also, because the pipes are so light, it moves with the wind. And I had to reattach this because it broke. But I realized I needed to put a base, and also I wanted to raise the height, so I bought these. In total, I bought 6. I didn't do the border all the way around, as you can see, and it would have been cost prohibitive or just overkill or overly expensive. But then I have them on these brick pavers that you would make like a fire pit with. But even so, the wind will pick this up. Despite the weight of this wood, it will pick it up and lift it over the lip. So let me show you the lip. So you can see the lip and you can see how it shifts and slides, but it can also lift it above that. Consequently, I bought some more blocks that will keep it from sliding and moving over. And I have more that I want to get to put so I can make sure I have enough. And I started stocking up this hoop house with things. So you can see this gardenia jar that has already rooted, as you can see right over there. And I started this probably at the beginning of January. So in 2 months, and I had them indoors. Even though it's in the sunroom, which does stay a little colder with all the windows, nevertheless, it was fine. So this hoop house, you can see in the backside it had the strap. So you can roll this up and strap it. It's both a good thing and a bad thing because I had the strap open and I was waiting for more clips. You have to use these clips. Do not go with what the hoop house has for you to attach the tarp onto the piping because it does not hold. Even the instructions say do not use in winds of 12 to 15 miles an hour or greater. So what are you going to do? Take this heavy thing off every time the wind blows? It's ridiculous. So anyway, I had this open the other day and I was at work, so it ripped this off and you can see how the seam tore. So I received that same day was when I received these in the mail, and I still have more on order because I'm going to be using more of these straps. One of the things they said to do is they had some string, so you have 4 of these to where you tie the string and stake it in the ground. This is good if you're going camping and camping overnight, but to have this in your yard and then it's going to get loose and then it's going to tear this regardless. It won't hold up in wind. But also, every time you want to remove the stake to mow the lawn, then stake it back in there, and then you end up loosening the ground over there so then it won't stake very well. So here is where the base is of the greenhouse, and they designed this to come out and you put dirt on it as a way to hold it down and anchor it. To me, that's silly, especially because I don't really think it was 7 feet. It was advertised to be at the center of the top. So elevating it is actually a much nicer feel on the inside. So that's really proved to be impractical. Plus, you're going to have a bump all the way around that. It kind of is a little weird. Also, when the wind blew and shifted this thing, because if wind comes on this, it can create a big sail and move the whole thing. You can see right over there where the pipe's bent, and I have this bent all along the different ribs. So this shows you how flimsy this hoop house really is. So even before I get to use this hoop house, it suffered some damage, and you can even see where when it shifted, the top is kinked a little bit. So now the big question is it worth the expense or not? So not only do you spend $200 on one this size, but then you spend about $50 on the wood, more on all these blocks to secure it. So consequently, you're easily spending at least $300. And then you have the clips, and I have more on order because this will start to blow, and then I don't want that to eventually start popping the clips out. So I'm going to try to secure all the ribs as much as I can, make sure the fabric is tight. Now this fabric is a thin PVC vinyl type material with plastic fibers on the inside for strength. Now, if you're familiar with PVC vinyl, the PVC makes the vinyl soft. So they used to use them in coin flips, but concurrently it started corroding the silver. You can also buy sheets of them from fabric stores to use to cover your tablecloths in the dining room. And you can also use it to bind the outside of books so that the cover, as you slide a book in and out of a bookcase, this is for hardcover books, it doesn't ruin the cover, like a braid on it and wear it out faster. Of course, it's not archival safe, so it will stay in the inside of the cover if you use it for that. So this is good stuff, but they used a very thin ply one, or thin versus a thicker grade. And I could not find any information on how long this stuff will last. So I don't know if it needs to be replaced every year, every 5 years, every 10 years. Although I have to replace mine sooner thanks to all these tears. You can see like up here the tear. But I just don't know. So if I replace it, I may just buy the regular hoop house sheeting and then clip it on. But it's up to you whether you want to use the PVC pipe method, which will be a little bigger, and make your own hoop house, or buy a kit for convenience. Just if you do buy a kit, you want to make sure it's anchored securely. You want to make sure you have enough clips, probably 120 or more at least, so that you can make sure it's going to be secure when you attach the cover. Do not rush to attach the cover until you have everything so you can make sure it's secure. Do not go by what they provide, because that is drastically inadequate. But whether you were trying to research if it's worth buying one, or you're looking for guidance on how to secure them, I hope this video was of any use to you, or some use to you. But thanks for watching, and happy planting.